July 2nd, 2016. I just learned a little while ago of the death of Elie Wiesel, Holocaust survivor, spokesperson to the world, Nobel laureate, Peace Prize winner, conscience of the world. And I just pulled out 4 of at least 6 cards and notes I have from him. These were from 1991, 92, and 93. In 92, I sent him a etching as a gift. Thank you for sharing your latest work with me. I am impressed, and did I thank you for the Hanukkah etching? I appreciate your generosity. Keep up the good work. With best wishes for a joyful and creative 1992. An earlier one, Dear Ken Akiva Segan, April 19th, 91. I don't remember if I must have realized it at the time, but he wrote that on the anniversary of April 19th is an important day in Jewish and world history, Christian and Jewish, as it was the start of the final liquidation, murder of the 50,000 remaining Jews in the Warsaw Ghetto concentration death camp, and their annihilation over the following 6 weeks as the ghetto was destroyed. At the time, years later, Jews would try to bring some honor to the indignity and horror of this history in terms of promoting the uprising as this great event. But as the late Jewish physician and longest living survivor of the commanders of the ghetto uprising put it, who died a few years ago, there was no great honor in fighting and dying and knowing that there was no hope at all. Thank you for letting me see your work. I find it very moving. This is really faded. It looks like he used a fountain pen. I'll be in Seattle next week and hope to see you there. With all best wishes, Elie Wiesel. We actually didn't meet then, but I did subsequently hear him speak at the University of Washington in a very large room there, and we didn't get a chance to meet. It was a huge crowd. I remember being really touched and moved by his speaking manner, which had a lot of gesticulation to it. I think I learned a lot about public speaking just watching him, and I was in the very back of the room. There were hundreds of people in front of me, but I could see how engaged he was as a speaker. Another this quick note here, September 91, best wishes for 57, 52. And I did subsequently meet him in person at the closing ceremonies of the Second International Conference on the Holocaust Education. I attended and facilitated a workshop at Yad Vashem in Jerusalem in April 2002. And we shook hands and just said hello. It was very, very short, but I was pleased to have finally met him. So in regards to the obit in the New York Times, I was upset that the Birkenau, which is one of the 2 divisions of Auschwitz-Birkenau, one of the mass murder camps the Nazis established in Poland, was described as a concentration camp. I just spent the last half hour writing, and I sent an op-ed to the New York Times. So I think Wiesel himself would have been distressed that in their obit about him, they Times chose yet again, as they've done a number of times in recent years, to describe one of the mass murder extermination death camps as a concentration camp. So more on that later on. So with sadness, I reflect on Wiesel, whose portrait I first did getting a lot of reflection here in a major work done in immediately following my first trip to Poland. I did this in the fall of 1984, called Elie Sin. Sorry for the reflected beams of light horizontally over his face there, but there are other videos, and there's a very good photo of the work in a Flickr.com album of non-Under the Wing series Holocaust works from my studio. Thank you.